Well, hello, friends. Glad you could join us. Welcome to another edition of the Midwest F1 League. Tonight we head to the Silverstone circuit in Great Britain for the British Grand Prix. A little bit of a special iteration of the British Grand Prix. No racing line will be allowed for this race here. We'll get to the more of that in just a minute. Right now, let's take you through your starting grid here in Division 1. It will be race day on pole by 0.3 of a second over the McLaren of Gott Palmer. Palmer did not improve on his second or his final timed attempt there. It'll be the Williams of Gottney Weeb in third, about 0.6 of a second off. He's cleared final flame by about 6/100ths in fourth, the other Mercedes. Fifth goes to Race Chase. Sixth is the other Williams of Fire Up Flow. Seventh is Lancey. Eighth will be that of GSR Edwin. 3/100ths ahead of Callie Robin ninth. It'll be 10th for Reimer. Not a good showing from Reimer, unfortunately. It'll be 11th for A-Dub. 12th Houdini, the other Red Bull. 13th will be Shariah. 14th Travis Scotts. 15th will be Gunner. 16th Nikki 64. 17th will be Gavin. Rounding out the grid, unfortunately, will be Swee in 18th. So, once again, no racing line to be used here at Silverstone this season. We will be having that in a couple weeks as well when we head to the Spanish Grand Prix over in Barcelona. That will also be another no-line race, as well as that is Singapore on January the 9th, Zandvoort January 23rd, what I believe is Hungary. Austria around February 6th, and then Belgium on February 28th. Now, I feel like this is something that the organizers toyed with last season. I believe Singapore, they did it as well. Not a lot of complaints, I don't think, from drivers necessarily. I think it was, a good experiment, and they're trying more of it here. To me, and I think what I could speak as well for these Division 1 competitors as well, is that breaking the racing line is not necessary as far as finding the way through the circuit. Obviously, every driver here has raced enough to know how the track goes. I think it's more or less just for the braking zones that drivers are relying on the racing line, and I think that will, play a little bit of an impact on our in our result here. Again, Reimer starting 10th, a driver that you'd really think could excel in this circuit. It's got a good mix of high downforce and then high speed. It seems like a driver who you'd probably think would excel. He's actually starting quite a ways deep in the grid. We do have the formation lap getting underway now. The question's going to be race day 2016 in that Mercedes. Looking to see how he'll get away here. He'll have the outside of Palmer as they head into Abbey, that first corner. As far as tires are concerned, we got a good mix of them here. Second through sixth, including both Willies have gone soft for this occasion. Lancey, Edwin, and Callie Robb on the mediums. Reimer and Nikki 64, the only two representatives who have gone hard for this occasion. Everybody else, Shariah Coleslaw's gone soft, Gunner's gone soft, Swee's gone soft. Travis Scott, Gab, and the rest I haven't mentioned have all stayed medium for this. This is a very fun suddenly development, because naturally, now that we have other tire strategies in play, that could really throw some of these guys for a loop. This Silverstone circuit, very quick. It does tend to eat up tires, especially if you're not careful, and I think some of these guys in the softs, what they might be planning on today is the safety car coming out. I would definitely think that that's got to be on the minds of the drivers tonight, considering that you're at a circuit with no line. Carnage definitely does happen here from time to time. Of course, you'd have to go quite a ways away off the circuit to actually hit anything, to probably crash out your car, but still, it's definitely possible. Race day 2016 will lead the grid off the line, as I've said. He'll have the outside going through Abbey. If he can hold it through Farm Curve and in towards Village, he'll probably have a fair look as they exit entry. There's your pit window, 12 to 19 for soft to medium. Medium to hard is 13 to 25. So those are really the two big strategy calls that we will have. I'm just wondering when if it was Singapore, which I believe was the last time we did do a no-line race, it was that of Kate Thomas claiming a Division 1 race win, which was, I believe, somewhere along the lines of 120 Division 1 races since his most previous win before that. I did have that calculated at some point. It's obviously a moot point now, but I thought that's really interesting to bring up because he had gone a while without a win, that's for sure. This will be the 133rd Grand Prix I've cast here in the Midwest F1 League, the first I will see with no line. So this is definitely going to be an interesting one here. Palmer on those soft tires on the inside. You have to think that he'd probably have the better of the getaway here. As, of course, the game does not give me one good camera angle, but that's all right. We'll go along with race day here on the outside. Lights will begin to turn on here shortly for the British Grand Prix. No racing line. Carnage, probably, definitely. Let's see what they've got here in Division 1. It's Edwin with a jump start. He's got a drive-through penalty, and Palmer has gotten away very well. Already to the inside of race day as they go through Abbey. There's a lot of conundrum behind them. They fan out 2 by 2, making their way through Farm Curve and in towards, what is this? I forget the corner names already. Palmer does have the lead, only just. Race Day has fallen to third as himself and Final Flame battling it out now through Aintree and down the Wellington Straight. Now Palmer does lead. The Willies have gone 4th and 5th, and now the question is will Palmer have any sort of noticeable competition here? Final Flame also on the softs. You'd have to think he's going to be the next driver up to bat here as they file through Brooklands, Luffield, and Woodcote after this. And as they make their way now down the National Pit Straight and in towards Copse Corner, Palmer does have a 3/10 of a second advantage, but he's drifted a little bit wide there. Can Final Flame get up closer to him as they make their way through Maggots and Beckett's and in through Chapel after that? Palmer seems to be struggling with this complex now. Final Flame's gonna have a good look here as they exit Chapel. No DRS this time, but he's already up to the back end of the McLaren now. We've got the Red Bull of Houdini off at the back. To the inside goes Final Flame up the hill in through Stowe, and it looks like the Mercedes will take the lead. Our third different leader of the day, and we're not even done with the first lap. Let's see if Race Day can potentially make a move here, and I'm just once again curious how these drivers will take these heavy braking zones, knowing that they don't have the racing line to rely on. They would have had a couple of laps in qualifying to get that correctly. Lancey now looking to the inside of A-Dub as they make their way down the Hamilton Straight and in towards Abbey once again. Lancey's going to back out of that one, at least for the time being, and stays behind. Final Flame does lead only just, and once DRS is in play now, I have a feeling that one is not going to stay that way for very long. He has improved 3 positions since the start. Palmer started second, is currently still second, as Lancey seems to be falling behind. A couple of cars have gone off here. Reimer has lost at least a couple of spots then. A-Dub has definitely lost position, as well as Houdini, and I think Lancey fell a spot or two there. A-Dub will pick up a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits, and I think that's probably a penalty he can get taken off. He's just gotten back on track in the nearest, safest way he could, so he probably could get that penalty taken off, and that'll save him some, but, you know, not a good start at all for some of these guys, specifically Reimer. Down 2 spots, started 10th, is now 12th. Lancey's down 4 spots. Gunner up 6, currently the biggest mover of the day in the positive direction. Final Flame, though, crucially, up 3. And as they make their way down the Hangar Straight now, up in towards Stowe, I don't think any moves are going to be made here unless potentially does the Aston Martin of Edwin have a look at Cali Robb. Remember, Edwin has a drive-through penalty. He jumped the start. Sometimes that does happen. The last time I saw that happen was the Division 2 finale last season where Gab, I believe, was the driver to jump the start as he was battling for a championship in that final race. Well, down the Sir Lewis Hamilton Straight now into Abbey once more, beginning the 3rd lap of the Grand Prix. We've had a lot of action here, and it's not over yet, as Palmer's going to be within striking distance of Final Flame now as they make their way in through Village in the Loop Corner after this. Race Day is going to have to do some work here. He's not had a good start, but he is on the medium tires. That'll give him time to recover and get back up the pace. DRS activated for pretty much everybody within the top 10. Final Flame has a look to the inside. Palmer wanted the outside. Final Flame has positioned that Mercedes quite well. In the middle of the circuit has not allowed the McLaren to have a good look, as Lancey getting around Shariah Coleslaw behind, it seems, and as they file through Woodcote and down in towards Copse, Final Flame still has the advantage. Well, Lancey has gotten around Shariah Coleslaw, then it seems he's gapped them, at least for the time being, but now, once again, now going through Maggots, Beckett's, and into Chapel. Final Flame has the lead. Now, this is where Palmer struggled on that opening lap. This is where he really lost that spot, and could he lose another one here to Race Day, as DRS is going to be activated now down the Hangar Straight. Gotney Weave looks on, 7/10 of a second behind and hoping for a mistake. Palmer's going to try around the outside, and he's going to get that one done rather easily. Race Day has to sit and wait and hope that his teammate has a bit of a slip-up or the McLaren ahead of him. A Mercedes 1-2 would be nice. Palmer defends well, does not allow Final Flame to have the inside or the outside. He's put that car very well in the middle of the straight there, going in towards Vale. And beginning the 4th lap now, Palmer has the lead and the fastest lap. And it is still a tenth and a half here between the two as Gunnar and Edwin side by side. They're getting around each other now. That is Edwin into the pit lane. Oh, look at this. Well, that's the Alpine behind of Travis Scott. Well, that car has gone severely off track, and I'm not really sure what's happened there. Yeah, that was a big jumble of positions. Edwin's going to fall pretty much all the way down the grid now. Final flame to the inside of Palmer. He's going to have to try to look into it in the braking zone of Brooklands, and he's going to make it happen for now. Palmer still has the inside, going through Luffield and Woodcote after this, and it looks as if who's going to get the better acceleration? It's going to be Palmer on the inside, and he's made that one happen only just, and now Race Day looking in the picture as well. All the while, Gottney Weeb looks on and hopes for something drastic, as it's 0.3 of a second separating the top three as they make their way out of Cups Corner and in towards Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel after that. Well, what a start to this Grand Prix it has been. Sweet has gotten around Lancey as Final Flame's going to get around the outside of Palmer. Here goes Race Day looking forward as well. Championship rivals, and they've been so for some time. Side by side, potentially on the way into Vale. And Final Flame really wanted to block that outside line, so Race Day could have a look to the inside of Vale. Wasn't going to happen. As they go through Club, this time, Final Flame has the lead. Palmer second and Race Day third. And Weeb is shaved off about 0.3 of a second to that gap that he had before. We'll look on now with Lancey, who does have Sweet and Travis Scott's behind him. Sweet has not gotten a good exit then of Vale. Travis Scott's looking for it on the outside of Club, and he's made it happen. Sweet has nearly lost the car. He's caught it well. That car had quite the wiggle coming out of Club Corner and getting on the throttle. He has lost the spot, but he's kept the car in one piece. Down the Wellington straight now. Palmer looking to the inside. He's not going to be able to have it now. Maybe can he mess about through the different lines in these couple of corners here and maybe get good acceleration coming out of Woodcote and down the National Pit Straight. Heading into Cops Corner, and he's had a little bit of a look to the inside. Holding it there. Oh, that's a big slide, but he's caught it well. But I'm thinking now Race Day could seriously have a look. Palmer, with that slide, has only lost about 1/10 of a second to Final Flame. Good statistic to have after that one. Exiting Chapel they go. Race Day's gotten a much better exit. DRS, however, for the McLaren ahead as they make their way down the straight. Race Day's going to try to file in behind. Oh, look at this! He's going to try to get his teammate as well, and Race Day double overtake for the lead. Well, I don't think Final Flame expected that one, as Race Day takes the lead, gets around his teammate and the McLaren in question. Wow. Now the pair of the Willies are coming up here and trying to get to this battle for the podium as well. Gottney Weeb and Fire Up Flow have, well, Fire Up Flow's gained a position. Gottney Weeb has lost one, but still, it's a halfway decent day there so far. And at the line this time will be 20 laps to go. As now heading out of Aintree and down the Wellington Straight once more. Final Flame, I think, is going to start to play the team game now and keep that gap backwards to Palmer. It's an interesting situation for Final Flame because you have to think he's got to feel that he's got the pace to win this Grand Prix, but he does realize that his teammate is in a championship battle, will be in a championship battle with the driver behind him. What is the decision that Final Flame will do here? This is a very tough spot to be in, and he is losing time to Race Day. 0.7 of a second between the two Mercedes at the top of the grid. Palmer, I think, is going to be able to have a good look at Final Flame, maybe going down the hangar straight this time. Although, Gottney Weeb has made a slight hash then of Beckett's. Exiting Chapel and DRS activated, and down the hangar straight they go. Fire Up Flow a little bit further behind, but up the hill and into Stowe. This will be really the first lap of the Grand Prix. We've not seen a lead change here. Race Chase could have a look at Fire Up Flow here coming up shortly. Well, it's interesting because the patch note said that the smoke was going to be lessened. It has not. I think it's actually gotten worse. I think Houdini said that as well. Travis Scott has gotten up the inside of Swede, going through Stowe up to the 12th spot for him. Reimer seems to have recovered back to 9th on the hard tires as well, and 3.5 seconds behind Gunnar. Only 0.4 ahead of Shariah Coleslaw, who is on the softs. And as they make their way down the Wellington Straight now, it's pretty evenly spaced between the top 6 cars, about half a second between each of them. It's going going to really depend on who makes the mistakes now. Gottney Weeb, I think, has had a little bit of a slow go into Brooklands that time. We'll have to wait and see, potentially. Bit of a slide there for Gottney Weeb as we have a yellow flag in the back. Travis Scott's gone round. He's gone into the grass. This is exiting Village in the loop. As we now have another yellow flag. Shariah Coleslaw, well, that's not the yellow flag. Shariah Coleslaw is being overtaken by Reimer, or, well, trying to get around the outside of Reimer now, going down the national pit straight and into Copse. 0.2 of a second or less. This is surely going to be one look to be made down the hanger straight. We'll check with them in a minute. Once again, the top 6 making their way down said hanger straight. As Callie Robb is trying to get himself into this battle, still 2 seconds behind, and with no DRS to the car ahead of him, that's going to be quite difficult, as that is a total DRS train going up through the top 6. Shariah and Reimer side by side going through Stowe. Shariah is taking the long way around and has gotten the spot up to 9th. Oh, but I think he's missed the braking zone there. That's going to very much compromise his line through the back end of Vale and in through Club. Reimer on the inside, and the Red Bull is going to take that spot. Well, I say that only just and only for now. Lancey follows in behind. Reimer still to the inside. He's absolutely cut that corner, I'm afraid. And now Lancey had to have a look to the inside there, as I think Reimer was checking up to give Shariah the spot back. They're 1 and 2 as they make their way now through Village in the loop, as Lancey looks on and hopes for a mistake from one of them. He will have DRS to somebody. Who it will be as they exit Aintree. Shariah is fading. Reimer's got DRS. Lancey's got it as well. And Shariah, unfortunately, will be the driver that ends negatively out of that one. But now Lancey around the outside of Reimer. Now going through Luffield. Is he going to be able to stay there? Reimer's got good acceleration on the inside on those hard tires. It's a big slip from Lancey, and he's held on, but Reimer has kept the 9th spot after some perseverance and potential danger there. Heading up into Stowe now. Palmer has gotten back within 0.3 of a second of final flame. Gottney Weeb, something has happened with this Williams driver in particular. He has lost about 0.7 of a second, I would say, to the back end of Palmer. Are those soft tires starting to go away that quickly? I would think so, but Final Flame isn't losing time to race day. Fire Flow is not losing time to Gottney Weeb. Race Chase is not losing time to Callie Robb either, so I don't really know what has happened. I think that's got to have been a pure error then from Gottney Weeb. Yeah, not really sure. Down the Wellington Straight they go. Race Day leads the brigade as they make their way into Brooklands now. Final Flame half a second behind. Palmer is not close enough to make that happen, and the two Williams will stick up for each other now as they make the... Oh! Well, a bit of a sword fight there between the two Willies as they get together. And Gottney Weeb has gone off track at Luffield and has fallen back. Now behind Race Chase as well. And I think Callie Robb is going to be next up to have a shot at them here. As Nikki 64 is going to be our first true track limits penalty of the day. No, that's not true. Travis Scott picked one up earlier. Second true track limits penalty of the day for Nikki 64. As we have a yellow flag going through Brooklands and Luffield. A-Dub has gone off. Edwin, I think, is leaving the scene of the crime. Reimer has now picked up 3 seconds for multiple warnings as Race Chase has gotten up and around. Fire Up Flow going in through Stowe. Callie Robb, is he going to be able to have Gottney Weeb to the inside going through Vale? No, not quite. Beginning the 10th lap of the Grand Prix, Race Day as well, after all is said and done, at least for now, has gotten back to the top spot. Final Flame has gone up 2 to 2nd, Palmer to 3rd. Race Chase is up a spot to 4th, Fire Up Flow up to 5th. Gottney Weeb has lost 3 spots, he's down to 6th. Callie Robb to 7th, Gunner up 7 positions to 8th, Reimer up to 9th, although sitting on 3 seconds of penalty, and Lancey down 3 spots to 10th. And you'd have to think there that we're going to be seeing a pit stop here for those running on the soft tires very shortly. And as they make their way through Brooklands and Luffield and Woodcote after this. I thought we were in for something special there. Nobody's slipped up and lost position. Although Callie Robb may have a look at Gottney Weeb here going through Maggots and Beckett's this time by. Remember, Both the pair of the Williams have gone soft for this occasion. Callie's going to go a little bit wide there through Copse. He's probably picked up a warning. If not, he's track extended enough to be able to get out of one. It does happen sometimes. Fire Flow's going to get up the inside of Race Chase here. Now for the 4th spot, but he has not had a good line through Stowe. Race Chase is going to be able to have a look around the outside as Callie Robb appears to have gotten round Gottney Weed for that 6th spot once again. Still a 1/10 of a second between the two as they go through Vale and in through Club after that. Lancey and Reimer now side by side going through Stowe. Lancey's got great acceleration on the inside and up to 9th. Check back with them in a minute. Once again, the battle for the top 3. Now, this is interesting here. Palmer has gotten the spot, the ground back to Final Flame, and I'm just wondering now if Palmer's going to be able to have a good enough look at Final Flame. Both drivers at about, well, I'd say 90% or more of their energy store. Final Flame is, down about 90. Palmer's full battery here. Race Days actually seems to be using it slightly defensively. He's at 50%. As A-Dub's going to pick up another penalty for multiple warnings this time as Reimer and Lancey are going to trade positions there going through the loop. Top 3 once again going through, what is this corner? This is Copse Corner. Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel after that. Let's see if Palmer has been able to get a good enough run out of Chapel to get up to Final Flame as they make their way down the hangar straight. Final Flame is just too far ahead for the time being. He's actually gained some ground on his teammate then, which is interesting. Oh, as Final Flame's going to go off the track there. Surely a warning for him as Palmer into the pit lane, the first of the soft tire runners to be stopping for strategy here. Race Chase and Fire Up Flow on the way in as well. As I'm sure, well, Gottney Weave has stayed out, so that's probably done on purpose by the two Williams teams. Of course, on that same set of soft tires, so a double stack would not be helpful here. Who else decides to come in here? Nobody for the time being. Sorry, Houdini will. As my battery's getting low on my charger. Shariah's going to be on the way in, as well as some of these other fellas. So the top 2 have stayed out. Gottney Weeb has promoted himself up to 3rd. Of those who have stopped, Palmer, Race Chase, and Fire Up Flow have all gone to the medium tires. As Sui has got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So everybody who has stopped so far has gone to the mediums. Only 2 or 3 other cars left who we haven't gotten that notice come onto the screen yet. Yep, medium tires for the both of them. So the strategy appears to be soft-medium happening now. At least for those who started on the soft tires. I'm wondering if those on the mediums, or if they're going to go to the hards or try to go more towards the end for the softs, because those softs did last a good ways. They did last, I would say, comfortably to the 10th lap mark. Anything past that, you're really kind of depending on your own talent at that point, I would think. But either way, not too bad at all. Oh, that's a big lock up there for Final Flame on the way into Vale. He's caught it, only just. Callie Robb within a 10th and a half of the Williams here of Gottney Weeb, as Weeb's going to be on his way in. Lancey is not quite going to be close enough to Reimer this time to make something happen. Callie Robb is going to promote himself up to 4th. As we look now, those who have yet to stop. Gottney Weeb on his way in. Final Flame has not stopped yet for his soft tire, so Final Flame will be the last driver of the original soft runners to start the Grand Prix, who has yet to pit. Race Day on the mediums, Callie Robb on the mediums, Reimer the hards, Lancey the hards, Nikki 64 the hards as well, and then the back half of the grid, 12th through 15th, have yet to stop as well, though some of them are making their way in now. And once again, it is still just 0.3 of a second between the top 2, as at the line this time by, we will be officially halfway through this British Grand Prix here in Division 1. It's been a fantastic race so far, action everywhere you look, and hoping for more of the same as we enter the second half of the race here. Started with 18, we are still at 18, which is a slight surprise to me, considering that these guys are using no racing line, although this is the best of the best that the Midwest has to offer. So am I surprised? I'm surprised because I know I couldn't do it, but really not surprised at all when you think about the talent that these fellas have. Final Flame into the pit lane now, surely for the medium tires here. So you have a yellow flag going through the loop now. That's the Ferrari, I think, of Sui. Yes, he has. He's getting back on the throttle. It looks like he's taking a trip through the grass somewhere along the line. He's sorted itself out as Gottney Weeb's going to get Gab here as they make their way up through Stowe. And up to the 10th spot. We'll have a quick look at the penalty tracker for the time being. Just another quick word on those stopping. Most of them are choosing the medium tire. Those who have yet to pit include Race Day, Callie Robb, Reimer, Lancey, Nikki64, Gab, Edwin, and A-Dub are the only couple of drivers who have yet to stop, and I'm assuming they will be going probably, well, coming up on 10 laps to go here in just a little bit. I would assume they're going to stay out as long as they can and go to the softs, because those soft tires did last those 10 laps, and they lasted halfway decently. Reimer, something drastic has happened with him. He has lost a couple of positions there, both Lancey and Palmer. Did he have an error coming out of Aintree going down the Wellington Straight? Because I mean, that car was noticeably off pace as Palmer's going to get around Lancey as they make their way down towards Copse Corner. Final Flame within a tenth of Reimer here, making their way through Copse. Nearly some contact there. A Mercedes and a Red Bull going through Copse Corner. Where have we seen this before? Final Flame, not quite. And in through Chapel coming up now. Final Flame's got a great exit of the corner. Reimer is not going to be able to hold on, I'm afraid. Side by side they go, and Final Flame back up to 5th. Can Lancey find a move at Palmer? Going up through Stowe. No, not quite. He's well a ways away. Palmer does have a bit of a wiggle as Lancey on the way into the pit lane. So let's see what Lancey decides to do. Will he go to the hard tires or will he go to the softs? I'm assuming he'll go to the softs, but let's see. I'm very interested in this because this will tell us what race day will do. This will tell us anybody who is still out on track, this will tell us what they're going to do, and he will go to the soft tires. With just over 10 laps to go, that is a massive tell on what the strategy is going to be for the drivers around them. Oh, by the way, race day, for all intents and purposes, only has a 24-second gap between the top 3 cars. Well, back to Palmer. He's got 24 seconds. Remember, Race Day and Callie Robb have yet to stop. Palmer is reeling in. Race Day and Callie Robb for the time being. I'm thinking this is going to be difficult here for Race Day because he's going to lose at least those 2 spots. Not to mention he's going to be out on track battling with his teammate as well. Has probably got Palmer as well. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. As through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel they go. And once again, Palmer's not really found the pace through that section. As Final Flame's going to get on the loud pedal, it seems, earlier, into the inside. And with DRS activated for the Mercedes. Up the hill and around the outside through Stowe, and that one's going to be rather easy then for Final Flame. Race Day 2016 has still decided to not pit. Callie Robb, however, is in. Callie Robb, we can assume, to the soft tires. Yes, he is. Palmer within 0.2 of a second of Final Flame as they make their way in towards the loop and Aintree after that. This is interesting now because Final Flame will not have the defense mechanism of his teammate to help him with this battle. Got Palmer is really, I think, just going to get him on pure DRS and pace now. Final Flame's going to defend the inside, and then again, oh, I don't know. Is Palmer going to look at that and say that that was 2 moves? Because he very much committed to the inside. He was on the high side exiting Aintree, went to the middle of the track, and then in what appeared to be a separate move, defended low again, and then came back up to the right. I don't believe Palmer's going to be very happy with that one. That one did not look like a 1 move there for Final Flame. But it's still 0.2 of a second between these two. Final Flame, I think, has gone a little bit deep through Chapel. Let's see if Palmer's going to be able to get him this time. DRS activated for the McLaren. Final Flame is going to defend high and now chooses low. And Palmer will have to go along the outside. And side by side, they go up through Stowe Corner now. absolutely on the limit between these two, is into the braking zone at Vale. Final Flame is going to outbrake him, but that may compromise his line through Club as Palmer, oh, I thought he was going to have a look on the inside there. He's chosen not to do it, but maybe if he gets on the accelerator a little bit better, as down the pit straight they go, heading towards Abbey. It's not going to happen now, is it, as we have a yellow flag going down the Wellington Straight. I believe it's the Haas of A-Dub. Something's gone wrong with him, as into the pit lane goes Nicky 64, but still, all the while these two battling. I think this is exactly what Final Flame wants. He wants to hold off Palmer here because race day is 24 seconds up the road. That just helps race day get in a position now where he could have his pit stop and still be in contention to win this race, as we do have 10 laps to go. Gotney Weeb, it'll be a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings for him as they make their way down towards Cop's Corner now. We'll check back in with them in just a little bit. We do have Fire Up Flow trying to get within position on Race Chase. Reimer ahead of them as well. Reimer does have yet to stop. He started this race on the hard tires 16 laps ago. He is still there, and I'm thinking to the soft tires, well, he's going to have to. He does still have to make the stop. But I will say, he's managing some halfway decent pace there. I don't believe this is going to be any sort of, I think, improvement on position for Reimer realistically. It's now Race Chase to the outside, and it looks like he's going to have Reimer rather easily. Here's Fire Up Flow. He's going to go for it as well, and does have it. So Reimer falls to 6th. Now has to still take the pit stop and a penalty, and there goes Reimer into the pit lane. Interestingly enough, Race Day has still stayed out here, as Reimer pits for the soft tires from his hards in which he started the race on. Race Day still on the mediums in which he started the Grand Prix on. There is just probably no way that that car is up to snuff now, at least in the best way possible for Race Day, as Reimer does absolutely go to the medium tires here. He's going to be falling at least 2 more spots back to Lancey and Gunner. That'll put him back where he started in 10th place, and I think now his teammate Houdini is round in the final corner, and will probably get his teammate as well. As a matter of fact, they're going to be side by side here, exiting Abbey. This could be slightly interesting now, as Houdini does get around his teammate. So 2.5 of a second now, Palmer still, and I tell you what, Palmer, somebody check on him now. He's probably steaming with frustration now, as Final Flame is defended like a lion here. Prime Sergio Perez. Is Final Flame a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings? And now Palmer, will he have the move, DRS, and energy being used, and he will get up to that 2nd spot, and with some ease as well, as Race Day into the pit lane and to the soft tires, as the top 2 are only making their way into Vale now. And in through Club, Palmer's got to absolutely book it here, because I think Race Day's going to get out of the pit lane ahead of him. Oh, I don't think he will. No, he's going to be shy by just a little bit. Oh, it's going to be so close as they make their way through Abbey. Palmer does get him, and Race Day is falling positions now. Maybe under pressure from Race Chase and Gotney Weeb if he doesn't get up to speed and tire temperature quickly. Race Day has a 3.7 second disadvantage to the top 2. As Final Flame does have DRS, will look to the inside of Palmer. Now going through Brooklands. Final Flame to the lead of the Grand Prix. That has helped Palmer, especially because not only has that battle kind of gotten itself rather quickly there, Palmer will now have DRS to Final Flame. He could stay within DRS range of the Mercedes and still be able to pull Race Day, who doesn't have anything except fresh soft tires, which, in fairness, is a good place to be for Race Day, especially being the talented driver that he is. But still, Palmer could realistically kind of hang tight here behind Final Flame, get the DRS, conserve his energy while he can, and still have a good look towards the back end of the Grand Prix. As to the inside now through Stowe, Palmer is not happy with 2nd place. He looks like he's going to go for it. Oh, it's a big slide for Palmer! He does barely catch it! Wow, and that has absolutely shrunken the gap now. That's lost about a second as Palmer. Wow. That is a massive, massive error there for Palmer, who moments ago I thought was in the better of the situations here. between the two battling for the lead. As it turns out, Race Day may now very shortly have him on the ropes. Palmer, by the way, only trails Race Day by 4 points in the standings. Reimer in third. He's going to be losing some spots today in the standings. Cali Robb to fourth. He's going to be gaining a little bit. Lancey fifth. Edwin in sixth. Though I think the big winner once again could be Final Flame. Will get himself, I think, probably in the mix realistically. Race Chase in that Sauber, of course, he is a reserve. Pulled some good points last time out. As they make their way through Luffield and Woodcut now, it looks as if Gunner within 0.7 of a second of Lancey. As they look to make their way down to the whatever corner it was, Race Day has gotten around the outside of Palmer and to second place. And what will eventually be the lead as well. Race Chase does get round Fire Flow up to fourth. But oh, you have to feel for Palmer, who you feel as if it wasn't for that error that he had last time by, Race Day would have definitely had a much more difficult time getting around the McLaren. I think the only thing Palmer can hope for now is if Race Day either makes a similar error or those tires wear out very quickly. Because realistically, Palmer's on, what, 9-lap old medium tires? He's still got to go another 5 after this. Palmer's going to be in a world of hurt here, but if he could stay within DRS range and keep his energy store up, he may have a fair look, as Race Day does not have DRS to Final Flame. I think what Final Flame may want to do now is actually shrink that gap just a little bit. Final Flame's either going to find 2 additional seconds here in the last couple of laps as we have a yellow flag heading into the pit lane. I think Gab had a bit of a spin there, as somewhere else either way. Final Flame has now, this is what he's done, yes, he has shrunken the gap to within a second. Race Day will now have DRS to Final Flame, and that will keep Race Day ahead of Palmer, I would think. Out of Chapel they go, and down the hangar straight. 0.7 of a second between each of the 3 drivers in this battle, as Palmer is slightly closing in, but not really. Race Day, now having DRS to Final Flame, you'd have to think is definitely in the driver's seat now. As if he wasn't already. Got Palmer. He's got 5 laps to do his best and to try to get back around the Silver Arrows, which have absolutely tormented him this race. He's had a great effort, but much to the chagrin of Palmer, the Silver Arrows have played the ultimate team game today. At least it's appeared that way on the outside, and are on pace for a damn good result. As Travis Scott's going to pick up 3 seconds for multiple warnings, that puts him at 6. Otherwise, his penalties gotten it. Weave looks like he'll be losing position to Cali Robb, as Race Day has gotten around Final Flame. Final Flame is going to be drifting back here. Won't have DRS, obviously, in that one. He may hold up Palmer. Let's see what Final Flame does here. Does he play the sportsmanship card and let Palmer kind of get through, or does he play the teamwork game? And does he disallow Palmer from being able to get second? Remember, it's 4 points between these two atop the table, Race Day and Palmer, as Palmer's picked up 3 seconds. Nail in the coffin, how about that? What certainly appeared to have been a standing 8 count for Palmer coming to the final couple of laps. The referee may have just well stepped in and stopped this fight, as Race Day has the lead, and not only does he have the lead by 0.8 of a second over his teammate, he's got it by a net 3 between the both of them. Sorry, that's about net 4 at that point, really. Gottney Weave's still 2.5 behind Cali Robb. This is a good battle going here. I'm afraid Gottney Weave is going to have to hope for Cali Robb to make some sort of massive error in these final 4 laps here. Other positions to be changed will include Reimer will lose the spot to Houdini, so he'll go -1. Houdini actually seems to have had a pretty halfway decent day so far, only up to 1 position. Will be the second for Reimer, but not too bad. 10th and 11th for the Red Bulls, I would say, is actually a fairly respectable result there. I would think Reimer was absolutely hoping for more. Houdini would be pretty happy with that one. It's not a knock on Houdini by any means. He's kept it clean and has kept it penalty-free to this point. That's a good day in my opinion. Other penalties to be sorted by as well. Edwin will lose positions to Shariah Coleslaw. Travis Scott appears like he's going to keep his spot over his teammate there for 14th. As into the corner, Gunner's going to have a look at the inside of Lancey. This is for position now. For that 8th spot. Coming to the line this time will be 3 laps to go. As Race Chase is going to go down the inside and get fire up flow even well before they get to Stowe. Through Maggots and Beckett's they go. Lancey leads Gunner by 4/10 as now exiting Chapel. And DRS activated, who will be the one ending up with the 8th spot here. I think it's got to be... Gunner's not going to have it now. He is saving up his energy store, though, as Lancey's about 60%, 70%, I would say. So that tells me that Lancey's been having to play slightly defensive here, whereas Gunner is going to be more comfortable in these closing stages. No DRS down the pit straight, one of only a couple circuits in the F1 calendar where that is not featured. Fire Up Flow does get round Race Chase for that 4th spot. These couple of guys are 11 seconds behind the podium 3. Therefore, the podium 3 that you do see right now will be those in the top 3 steps. The order in which they sort themselves out, it's not exactly a foregone conclusion. Race Day could still pick up the penalty, and Final Flame and Palmer could once again have a race, but it's 0.6 of a second for Final Flame to Race Day, and Palmer is now outside of nearly a second and a half to the pair of the Mercedes. Where they're at the line this time will be 2 laps to go. Race Chase now to the inside of Fire Up Flow, and he's going to get that one. Yeah, nicely done there. We got a group of the back markers here actually battling quite well, as it appears. A-Dub, Swee, and the Ghost of Nikki 64 battling quite well as the back markers trying to find their way. Nikki got very unsettled going over the curb there and actually around the outside, and it looks as if Swee's going to do the right thing and make way. We do have a yellow flag. That is still Sweet getting out of the way for the faster cars. Going through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel now is that of the Aston Martin of Edwin, Shariah, and Travis Scott. They're not really close enough to consider themselves a battle for the time being, but still. Fire Up Flow's got 0.3 of a second to the back end of Race Chase. This will be for the 4th spot here. However, Gottney Weeb does have a penalty. He's down 4, but will stay ahead of whoever the outcome is here, as Reimer's actually going to look to get round Lancey now, side by side. Going through Aintree after that battle with Gunner left Lancey rather not occupied. What's the word I'm looking for? Not in a very slightly bad position, as now Gunner, he's going to look at a little bit of contact there. Another yellow flag. We've got somebody's gone slowly there going through Cop's corner. The Haas of A-Dub seems to have gone around not too long ago. As 3 cars battling it out here for this 8th position. Of course, Reimer on penalty. Gunner does not have any. Lancey doesn't have any either, but I would assume each of these guys are on 2 warnings each. Through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel after that. And Gunner, does he hold on to it? He does. Reimer's made that move happen. Wow, what a spot of the track to make a move go through. Final lap of the Grand Prix underway as Race Day leads Final Flame by over a second, who leads Palmer by 2.7. Up through Stowe. We'll check back with them in a minute. This is the most, I would say, important battle of the day right now, as Race Chase for that 4th spot leads Fire Up Flow half a second. Cali Rob behind 0.7. As the 3 leaders making their way through Woodcut and down towards Cop's corner now, it looks as if Reimer has been able to stay ahead of Gunner. Lancey has got only 0.4 of a second behind to Reimer. But the battle now still, we'll check back with them in a minute. Race Day 2016 through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel after that. Let's see if Fire Up Flow does anything silly here. Well, I say silly, gutsy is probably the word. Doesn't look like it's going to be happening for the time being. Into Stowe now in Race Day. has done an absolute beauty here in Silverstone, and, well, it has to be said as well, team game potentially has to be said. That's probably the reality to the situation, but 5 out of the last 6 belong to Race Day as he wins the British Grand Prix. And as it turns out, Fire Up Flow, Race Chase, and Callie Robb are in a good one here heading into Vale. As they go, Fire Up Flow has the position. Callie Robb, will he try the inside? No, I don't think any of them are going to be able to make a move happen here. Final Flame finishes third, Palmer third, Final Flame second, Palmer third, Fire Up Flow fourth, Race Chase fifth, Callie Robb in sixth, Gottney Weeb in seventh. Halfway decent day for the Williams. Eighth looks like it will belong to Lancey. Reimer does battle well with the Dutchman towards the end of the Grand Prix, will stay ninth unless, well, Gunnar and Houdini, good little battle happening now. This is not going to be up for grabs here, the ninth spot. Reimer's going to cross the line and stay ninth. But to the line they go, and Houdini's going to be about a 10th and a half shy. So Race Day 2016, 2 wins out of 2 so far in Season 14 of Midwest F1. That puts him as well. He's won 5 out of the last 6 Division 1 races. Brazil, Canada, Japan of Season 13. The back end of Season 13 was won by Palmer. And Race Days won Bahrain and Great Britain. And hey, by the way, that was a very fun one. Join us next time out when we head to the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia for the 3rd round of this Division 1 season for Hotspot. It has been a pleasure joining you. Once again, congratulations to Race Day and the rest of the podium. And we'll see you next time.